Former Vice President Joe Biden facing additional allegations of inappropriate conduct. Two more women came forward last night with accusations. President Trump with a few words for Biden last night.
Our former vice president, I was going to call him, I don't know him well, I was going to say, welcome to the world, Joe. You having a good time, Joe?
Joining us right now is the Daily Caller editor-in-chief, Christopher Bedford. Chris, great to see you this morning. Thanks so much for joining us. Your reaction, we got two more women now coming out against Biden. Are we going to be talking about Biden in the running for the presidency in 6 months from now?
Joe Biden's in an interesting spot, and I actually think he's been a little bit here the victim of some pretty vicious politics where people had seen on camera and had known for years that Biden, they called him Uncle Joe Biden, was someone who got really touchy-feely, got really close to folks. Like, he's not accused here of sexual assault. He's accused of making people uncomfortable, and that's long been part of his shtick. People have kind of accepted that. He says things that he shouldn't. He acts in a way that maybe he shouldn't. But now that he's in a race against Democrats when there's a lot of other young and up-and-coming Democrats who might think it's their turn, suddenly the knives are out for him in his own party. And I still think he's got some strong polling, but it's a really terrible way for him to try and be raising money and start a campaign for president.
Christopher, if Biden doesn't even enter or doesn't make it in a primary campaign, who's the moderate alternative for Democrats? We know a lot of people are staking out ground on the left. Who's the middle-of-the-road person for people to consider?
I haven't seen any real middle-of-the-road candidates completely yet. And even with Vice President Joe Biden, who seems like he's the moderate, who seems like he's the person who connects most with the working and middle classes in this country, he staked out a lot of very hard left positions when he was under President Barack Obama's administration. He was one of the first people to push for the gay marriage aspect of that administration that later became a championship for the Obama administration. But he was the first one who said it well ahead of when the administration was there. And he pushed a lot of those things. So he's an interesting politician and a canny one who can make it seem like he's more moderate, I think, than he is. But other than that, the Democratic primary so far, just like a lot of primaries, is a race to appease the base.
Yeah, I mean, look at all of the plans that they endorsed. All of the candidates endorsed the Green New Deal. They're all talking about some sort of either higher taxes, tax on wealth, et cetera. And the president took aim at socialism last night. He spoke out about Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's Green New Deal. Here's what he said. Watch.
The Green New Deal, done by a young bartender, 29 years old. A young bartender, wonderful young woman. The Green New Deal. You know, but it's crazy. You know, the first time I heard it, I said, that's the craziest thing. You have senators that are professionals, that you guys know, that have been there for a long time, white hair, everything perfect, and they're standing behind her and they're shaking, they're petrified of her. We support the Green New Deal.
Yeah, what about that? Doug Collins, Congressman Collins calls AOC the co-speaker. Nancy Pelosi must be out of her mind.
And he's got such a way with words. I bartended for 10 years, and I never proposed one of the political plans we came up with late at night when we were shutting down the place. President Trump kind of nailed it there. And what's been upsetting for, I think, maybe a more moderate Democratic voter out there is watching how many serious people, senators, have gone, who are on the campaign trail now, have endorsed this plan for the Green New Deal, and when even Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez is all over the place. And the second speaker is a great name for her because she is doing a phenomenal job of setting an agenda well outsized of what a freshman congresswoman should do. She's got a national identity now, although I have heard some complaints, for example, that she hasn't even set up a constituents office in her district. And there are some complaints from her home district that maybe she's spending a little too much time setting the national agenda and not enough time on her local duties.
Wow.
But, Chris, you use the word identity, and that's really, and this goes back to Joe Biden as well, that this is the party of identity politics, and that all you have to do to shut down an older white guy who is like running for the nomination or running the country is just to use your gender, use your identity to basically silence them. Because, again, if you criticize me, Chris, you're a sexist. It's never about the ideas. It's about you're attacking me, you're hurting me. And that's what that party's become.
And I've seen a lot of debates recently in the last few weeks amongst Republicans and conservatives around D.C. wondering if they should defend someone like Joe Biden from these accusations, saying there's no comparison to Harvey Weinstein, for example, who kicked this off. But a lot of other people are saying, why not let the Democrats play by the rules that they've set, the rules that they set for Justice Kavanaugh?
Right.
Now, these politics of division and everyone can only speak for themselves really emerged under President Barack Obama. But there you had a very strong leader who could pull all these groups together, even if they're at each other's throats, and get them on board. Now you don't have that.
Let's not forget, like, people like AOC, they are right now, as we speak, priming new people to get in there during the primaries. I mean, I heard she's looking to get somebody to take Jerry Nadler's place. She's looking at the party and looking at positions to try to figure out who can I help get ahead and who can I get in there. If Jerry Nadler is not going to take down Trump, somebody else will. I mean, they're all afraid of these freshmen because they're trying to out primary them and come up with new candidates. Even after Mueller, I mean, look, Judiciary Committee Chairman Lindsey Graham is vowing to bring former FBI Director Jim Comey back to Capitol Hill to testify about the whole Russia investigation. Here's what Graham said last night on Hannity.
Millions of Americans believe at the top level of the Department of Justice and the FBI, they wanted Clinton to win and Trump to lose. They manipulated the law to let her off, manipulated the facts in the law to go after Trump. And that's a big deal to a lot of people, Republicans and some independents. So I promise you, former Director Comey will get to testify in the light of day.
Yeah, Chris, Lindsey Graham was with me on Sunday, and he listed 4 things that he's going to be looking at aggressively. It's up to William Barr, of course, to see if we're going to see accountability on the perpetrators who created this narrative in the first place.
Up to Barr, basically, but Lindsey Graham, Senator Graham, is one of the only Republicans out there who's got really the stomach for going after the people who were working under Hillary Clinton and under President Barack Obama. The Republicans on the Hill, especially in leadership, are saying this is old, this is old. They want it in their rearview mirror. They don't want to speak about it. Not too dissimilar from how they want to deal with the wall. So Lindsey Graham is going back and saying, listen, now that we found that there's no collusion here with a foreign government, why don't we find out why the U.S. may have been working with foreign governments to spy on U.S. citizens? How was this spying done? There was a lot, and why was the Comey report handled so poorly, so far outside of Department of Justice guidelines? There are a lot of unanswered questions on how the Department of Justice acted, and I don't think that they've been solved so far. Well,
Comey has a lot of answers to give us, given the fact that he claimed that he didn't know Hillary Clinton paid for the dossier before he used it to wiretap an American citizen. And remember, he tweeted that out, lots of questions, so he'll be there to answer them once Lindsey Graham gets going. Christopher, it's good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us. Chris Bedford joining us there.